Welcome back to the Smite Console League. Finch and Tully here to bring you the conclusion of InControl up against Coalition. These two teams are 1 and 2 in PS4 North America, and it looks like it. Game 3 determines really who's going through.
They just took so many shots at each other in the first two games. It was a total barn burner, honestly, I would say. And Coalition looked so strong in game number 2. It was a little dicey at times, but they were able to pull through. Game number 1 InControl were exactly as their name referenced. And it's all going to come down to this game number 3 picks and bans, Finch.
And these picks and bans are going to be important here for me. And this time, Coalition going to be first pick. I think Coalition first picked in the first game. Coalition selected to be second pick in the second game.
Yes.
Now InControl, after their loss, they're selecting to be second pick here. See if they can get maybe some counter matchups.
They need to find some answer to SweetPatato. Because that Erlang Shen was a little bit troublesome for them. Susanoo, game number 1 for him, was also good despite not being able to find the win. I think a lot of that came down to Erlang Shen for Wicked. So we could potentially see that banned away.
See as the Poseidon Turnabout get banned away. Odin Agni, even when they're second pick, InControl have had the same bans all 3 games, I believe, up until now.
That's very true. Sobek is going to be the answer for Coalition. Beaudilla did a good job surviving the laning phase as opposed to playing the Kukulkan in game number 2, or game number 1 rather, as Erlang Shen has been basically the dictator in all this set. So I'm already giving it to InControl.
Just based on having the Erlang Shen. I believe he's, like you said, he's won every game on the side he's been on so far. So not a bad indicator, perhaps, of where this one's going to go, as Discordia is going to line up alongside the Erlang Shen. I like that. If that's the jungle mid, that's not a bad team together. The Strife is such a good setup, and really Magic is great damage, and Erlang Shen has plenty of his own range.
That's true. Just being able to find the taunt is so crucial to the Strife, the madness effect. Terra and Hunbat for Coalition. It's all AoE crowd control from Coalition.
Team fight, isn't it, so far from Coalition? You absolutely don't want a 5v5 with that group when they're all clumped up together. Earth and Fury lurking in the waters and Fear No Evil. Good luck trying to push your buttons as Thor comes out for InControl next to try and give them some semi-global, which means Erlang Shen very likely going to be in solo. More
than likely. We have seen some support Erlang Shen, like way in the past, Aurora specifically when he was on Team Eager. Would love to play this. God is definitely taking shots at Coalition's mid laner, their major stacks.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing all set long, is banning those 4 gods. They have not varied from that. Odin, Agni, Zeus, Apwash. As long as they don't have to deal with those 4 gods, they feel like they can win. Jingwei going to come through from InControl to give them a nice safe hunter option.
Especially against the Sobek. During the knockups, you can agility away, so even if you get blocked, you'll be fine. You can save your beats, agility midair, be safe even with the airstrike to go through walls. But fighting global with global, I like the Xbalanque pickup. Darkest of Nights during the Anvil of Dawn.
That's right. That should be good. A good way to try and mitigate some of the impact from this Thor, as I like this Ra as well. Because we were talking about how much control they have, how much setup they have. They should be able to hit these snipes with relative certainty on the back end of a lot of this setup.
And now they have double team sustain between the Terra and the Ra, self-sustain coming out of the Sobek. Cerberus is the last selection. I like this because of the anti-healing in his passive.
That's right, he'll be able to steal away some of that from Coalition rather throughout the rest of this game. We'll see how it works out for him. But who do you think is going to win? Let us know in Mixer chat. Get in that poll. Make sure your voices are heard. InControl want to grab the win right here so they can just take it right on through, and Coalition want to give themselves a chance.
Whoever wins this one puts themselves in a great position to close it out, to guarantee themselves that spot to the HRX placements. InControl would certainly do so. Coalition would be one step closer pending the results of week 6.
Now, one thing that kind of hurts InControl that we haven't talked about yet is that Jingwei's laugh nowhere near as good as Rom's laugh.
You're totally right.
And I think that could definitely hurt this team.
Maybe it'll help them because they won't laugh and they can focus on the game where they can actually close it out.
Well, think about it like this, right? Not going to go up in the air and miss a bunch of snipes if you're Jingwei.
That's true. You can't really miss an airstrike compared to Astral Barrage, right?
Which is difficult. It's hard to hit. InControl, kind of moving into the jungle, but they're not going to find much there. I think we see Joltak has dropped a ward down to try and get some information, and looks like Coalition recognized that's there, even waving a little bit, like, hey, we know this is here, whatever. Letting them know that they know about this information they're getting. So if Coalition want to play around it, SweetPatato knows where he needs to go.
See where they go afterwards, because anytime a jungler goes for an early level 1 blink, there is potential to go for an early level 2 dual lane gank. Sometimes junglers, and that's what that ward does right there. It identifies if they're going to go for the red buff to go for a level 2 gank, or if they're going to do the more standard back camps into blue buff traditional route.
And that's what had me thinking that Coalition, or rather InControl, InControl might be trying to look for some aggression to the jungle, and they would need this information, right, about where SweetPatato is. But if they're just going to be playing relatively safe as they are, they cleared wave with their own bus, then it's nice to know, but it's not hugely impactful.
Fair enough, yeah. Major Stack's able to confirm his own red buff, getting 100% of that experience for himself. It's going to put him in a good position.
We'll see if there's anything that comes from the 2v2, as already pushing forward is SweetPatato. Can't find much there. They'll head back into the jungle and grab those mid harpies instead. Solo lane matchup this time is Beaudilla up against Wicked. And last time we saw this Erlong Shen, he went right into the Berserker Shield as soon as possible and really bullied, I believe, the Kakulin was the matchup he had.
Yes.
Sobek is so safe, though. I don't know if he's going to be able to get all that same pressure.
Especially when you're going to get plucked under the tower if you're too reckless. Now, Kakulin can do the same idea where he roots you and then knocks you back, but that's a two-part phase, and you need to be transformed to do so. You can play around that a lot better than you can play around the pluck. But that was also Wicked giving up first blood in that first game. So unless Wicked doesn't give up first blood, he's not going to control this lane. He has to actually feed and then get that weird passive of whatever's happening in the set between the two teams.
Yeah, I believe that both games, the team that initially was behind is the team that ended up winning.
Yes.
So the idea is to, like you said, you know, kind of give it away a little bit earlier on, break the tension in the air in your own favor, and then you can go close the game out. We'll see if that persists. As this time, Rygaklu, who's been playing most of the Unbots, is going to be on the Thor. It's definitely still strong, but maybe not as much control in a fight.
And I like the fact that Coalition are switching things up to, you know, pick up the Hunbats, because Rygaklu has been playing the Hunbats consistently, over and over again. So switching things up, getting more crowd control for themselves, puts them in a good spot for these jungle fights where InControl for the most part was favored in, I think, the whole set for jungle fights, but wasn't really favored during some of the laning fights.
We'll see if they can make that work, but it's not the only change they're making as Rygaklu moving into the jungle for the invade. Wicked is here with him as well. But Beaudilla is on his way to this. It will be a 2-for-2 heads-up fight as Thor likes to be around as many enemies as possible early on. Wicked
Stolen.
Looking for the auto-attack trades as well. Blue buff picked up by Wicked, and they can very happily go on their merry way.
That's going to hurt Beaudilla in the long run, not picking up his blue buff, not going to have the mana sustain. But he is relatively close to that level 5, so once he gets that lurking in the water, he'll be able to replenish that mana pool of his.
Oh, Major Stacks has the ultimate, and he's rotated over. Searing Pain could certainly change things on the right side of the map, but Xcovi here as well. A little bit less impactful, but blue buff confirmed by Chaos.
But the thing is, SweetPatato's only level 3, so he doesn't have the proper setup to help Major Stacks confirm that Searing Pain. Need to rely on a little bit more help, potentially Beaudilla's pluck.
They will find nothing there. Major Stacks heads right back to the middle lane along with SweetPatato, as Wicked can continue to kind of have the pressure in lane. He backed, grabbed the Berserker Shield, that's finished off. And now it's going to be very difficult for the Sobek to step up into the lane and trade.
Very, very true. Having Shoes of Focus can give him some nice, important mana and cooldown reduction to spam that Sickening Strike, keeping himself topped off. As long as he can safely avoid the basic attacks from Wicked, Sobek will generally be favored.
Those things are a bit slow through this first game. I believe we saw the last first blood around the 5-minute mark or so, 5:30. So maybe there's something to it. We'll look and see if we can find it there again, but there's plenty of setup. Once SweetPatato has that ultimate, he'll blink in, Fear No Evil, and Major Stacks will be right there to follow up.
That could be the determining factor, or we could potentially see some more blue buff invades between this warrior jungle assassin combination. Last time, Beaudilla couldn't really keep his blue buffs alive in game number 1, and this could be the same case now that he's playing a Guardian yet again.
Rygaklu on the Thor now has his first ultimate available to him as well. He just ticked over to level 5. That's one more factor that can often determine where the aggression's going to be on the map. Thor is one of those gods that can very much set the pace, that can choose where the fights happen with that semi-global ultimate. We'll see if Rygaklu will be the one that gets it started, or will he counter-initiate, as we sometimes see from Thor's as well.
Surprised not to see Rygaklu on that right side of the map, knowing that the blue buff was stripped away 2 minutes ago exactly, that they weren't on top of that invade for the second time, but maybe a little bit fearful from the Fear No Evil. Get it?
Sure, fearing the Fear No Evil. I'm certainly right there with you. As Wicked finds a good back timing, the second that the teleport came back up is also the second who's able to go back and grab Warrior Town by and it was right in between the blue buff invade and his own blue buff coming back up. That was very well timed from Wicked, and he's able to really maximize his farm.
Still trying to be that big lane bully. Like, look at that damage.
Absurd.
30% of his health pool already gone, sitting at less than 50% health. But he does have the blue buff, so Beaudilla should be fine in terms of sustaining. However, he needs to get relatively close to the wave to clear, and that's going to allow Wicked plenty of time to look for those basics.
Rygaklu's up in the air. SmiteVOD here as well. Earth and Fury brings down the hurt, but a three-man stun from Rygaklu's perfect to make sure that Joltak makes it out. The hammer not as good, but Outbound going aggressive finds the shots through the Darkest of Nights, but it's just not enough.
Just not enough damage. SmiteVOD didn't have his ultimate there. He used it, I believe, in the mid lane as he forced the beats out of xCovi. That would have been a really well-timed ultimate gank, and maybe even first blood right on top of Joltak.
Major Stacks already level 8 in the middle lane, though. Got to be feeling good about his slight experience lead. He went into boots right away for the extra cooldown, the extra movement speed. Perhaps that's helping him get a little bit ahead of xCovi, who's got the book.
Raws definitely need that movement speed because you don't need that much magical power to clear the wave. Your Celestial Beam does plenty of damage in its own right. Left side, right side, mid Harpies goes down after like one beam and a basic attack. So yeah, Shoes of Focus is personally the safest option. I think Pen Boots are better because there's other options to go for cooldown reduction, like going for Chronos Pendant. Not a bad idea to still go some Pen Boots along the way.
That's right, but maybe it's because this start kind of forces you to give up on Mage's Blessing when it's some early cooldown. I like it too, though. Pen Boots are really good. So I'm right there with you totally. A lot of options available, not just to mid laners, but to everyone, man. You can kind of build however you want.
Especially for Searing Pain. You're not going to have many opportunities to land those, right? And it's already a short enough cooldown to the point where you don't necessarily need that much cooldown reduction in your build, as long as you can land those shots, as Rygaklu going to bully away SmiteVOD back to his own red.
That's right. It's one of those abilities where its cooldown almost isn't as important. The real one that he's worried about is SmiteVODs, right? So yes, he can shoot them freehand and see if he can land them, but really the cooldown he wants to line up with is that Fear No Evil, which can often facilitate for him finding his big damage. So even if it's up often, it might not matter if he's holding it to use it when SmiteVOD engages.
Beaudilla is still struggling in that solo lane, down 2 levels, as level 10 just got hit by Wicked, being that lane bully, constantly forcing defensive plucks under his own tier 1 tower.
And that's exactly what Wicked wants. If we can get Beaudilla to charge prey, to reposition, like defensively in lane, he can feel a little bit more comfortable going aggressive. But lurking in the waters is a pretty strong tool as well to get away from the control. So we'll see if he wants to keep diving, try and find some kills. There's not much in the jungle for my man right now, though he's certainly looking. No,
definitely not quite yet. It will respawn in about 30 seconds, those back camps that he can strip away. So after he proxies this wave, he'll be in prime real estate location for that invade. But now that Beaudilla has his Breastplate of Valor, it's going to be even more difficult for Wicked to start really bullying away Beaudilla.
And that's been the advantage this whole time, right? Is that he had the Berserker Shield and the Warrior Tabi when Beaudilla was mostly working just with the cooldown boots. But now, though, he's been able to back and buy the full Onis. These have been great back timers. A very cheap, cost-effective build so far from Wicked as well. This is a real problem.
It's true. But if Wicked doesn't get an advantage, then his mid game is going to be a little or his late game rather is going to be lackluster for sure. It's a cheap build, 1700 on Berserker Shield, 1900 out of Oni Hunter Garb. There could be some team fights where Coalition could definitely force things away from Wicked. Unless he goes for the Blink. Blink here with Oni Hunters would certainly make a lot of sense.
Outbound, looking for the reposition. Cbeaarr going to drop the ultimate to try and extend the range of those autos. Gets the stun onto Joltak and wants to keep the aggression going. But SmiteVOD and Major Stacks are off the mark. And now SmiteVOD has to jump away.
That's an important ability to confirm. And that's tricky sometimes against Fear No Evil, because if you catch them at the tail end of your Fear No Evil, they're only CC'd for about maybe half a second or so. So they can just still regain consciousness, walk away from wherever the Searing Pain is going to land.
Oh no, I think the apple hit the wall, so it didn't actually find anyone. Strategic is very low, and Outbound's going to keep up the aggression. Rygaklu goes up into the air as well. They're going to need 3 ultimates to confirm this Terra, but that's first blood for InControl.
Ooh, Rygaklu eats the Celestial Beam. SmiteVOD landed on the Gold Fury, took 1 shot from it, experienced the true pain of the mortals from the double tap of the Thor Hammer.
That was perfect for Rygaklu. He's the one that dunked in to confirm the kill on your strategic and found the hammer to take down SmiteVOD. Getting this Thor off to a quick start could definitely be bad for Coalition. Great job from Rygaklu.
Not done yet. Wicked's here from the solo lane.
Hello.
Tried to find the pin onto Major Stacks. So just a little too speedy. Raz, after using all their abilities, a lot of mobility to catch on the pin side.
And once it's fully stacked, you only need one more to refresh it at that max movement speed bonus. It's pretty nice to be able to keep it going for Major Stacks. There's max in the stacks off that movement speed passive.
Outbound just watching while InControl. Wait a sec.
Yeah?
He stole that?
Oh, those oracles, yes.
Yeah.
InControl got those, yes. Yes.
He stole it with a persistent gust.
Feels good, doesn't it? That wall's in a good spot. Major Stacks is going to fall here to xCovi. Great job from Rygaklu one more time. SmiteVOD has the overhand smash, but Stygian Torment controls the inbots. The stun off the mark, and Fear No Evil will spell the end of the dog.
Getting crippled in place. Unruly magic
Wow.
bouncing around, but the Earth and Fury topping him off. There goes the Javelin, keeping him pinned in place. SmiteVOD falls, but strategic answering in kind.
Rygaklu had to overcommit a bit to confirm that kill, and he ends up giving his life away. A 2 for 2 on the back end of that engagement means that Coalition find a couple kills to answer back, and InControl aren't as far out in front as they might have thought.
Definitely not quite yet. It's very early to tell. Still 12 minutes into the game. No team has been going for the Pyromancer or the Gold Furies. It's just been 6 kills in 12 minutes, roughly 1 kill for every 2 minutes.
A very calm pace as both these teams recognize just how much is on the line for this game. Deliberate is what this feels like as they're trying to go for these engagements. Like we saw SmiteVOD and Major Stacks try and find a fight over on the Chaos side jungle, right? We saw the tail end of it to know exactly how it happened. They were a little bit off the mark with that execution, yes, but you saw what they were going for. They had a game plan. They weren't fighting willy-nilly. If that lines up next time, that's big damage.
Absolutely. Especially with some more cooldown reduction for SmiteVOD, now working on a Jotun's Wrath. Normally you get Jotun's Wrath before the hi-rez Lament, because you'd rather have more Fear No Evils than you'd rather have a harder hitting basic attack. Because you don't have that much physical power anyway to scale from the hi-rez Lament. So the curve favors Jotuns early.
Sure. But I guess maybe to the same mark, there's not many protections to fight through early.
That's another factor.
So, yeah, you're right. They're kind of two sides of the same coin, right? Like, I don't have a ton of power to benefit from the passive, but they also have a ton of protections. So maybe either way is okay. SmiteVOD, though, making it work. Wicked lurking around the corner to throw in the pin and make life miserable for Beaudilla.
And the crowd goes wild.
He hates his life, doesn't know why he's here. He wants this Erlong Shin to go away, and Outbound wants a kill on the Cbeaarr. Darkest of Nights come out as well, but up in the air is Rygaklu. Can't quite find him, though, and the airstrike off the mark, too.
Outbound just didn't have the range, and neither did Rygaklu. Such an important ability, Darkest of Nights, to really disrupt the primary engage. Coalition able to escape that one. I don't think InControl are going to have an easy time with some of these Thor ultimates. As long as they know Rygaklu's in the air, that ultimate out of Cbeaarr coming out every single time.
Yeah, Xbalanque ultimate, the Darkest of Nights, continues to be very, very powerful just in terms of essentially shutting off the lights, limiting communication and information for InControl. And we saw it kind of put Rygaklu off the mark as both Oracles go the way of InControl one more time. Good damage coming out from Major Stacks as well, but there's no real follow-up.
That was only a Celestial Beam, too. Oh, there it goes. Oh, damn.
I like the idea, though. Major
I was
Stacks.
waiting to, like, pop off on that one.
And listen, if Major Stacks is going to buy the cooldown, then take those shots, my man.
Yes.
Searing Pain is already on the shortest cooldown. Just too short, it feels almost like.
Just
so,
let it rip.
Yeah, absolutely throw it out there whenever you think you got a chance.
15 minutes in. No team is confident enough quite yet to go for these Gold Furies. I understand why InControl isn't going for it because of the raw snipes. But at the same time, Coalition does have that available. And with 20% cooldown reduction after a Spear of Desolation, that's a good power spike to maybe sneak that objective as long as you have the proper vision to identify when InControl is around the corner.
So Major Stacks going with the cooldown, the flat pin, and a bunch of power up front to pair with that Book of Thoth. So he'll certainly be swinging on these snipes. I kind of like it, though, right? I mean, what other pen options really work for him? Doesn't need the Divine Ruin in this situation. The Ob Shard certainly comes to mind, I suppose, in that slot instead. But Spear of Desolation, if he wants more cooldown and doesn't want to build Chronos, nothing wrong with that.
The thing is, normally you go Pen Boots into Chronos Pendant, so you have a little bit of pen, and then you can work on the penetration later after the Chronos Pendant. Like an Ob Shard.
Sure. Not the same option because he's gone a slightly different build path. So he needs it early on as Major Stack snipes down Joltak. He's pinned against the wall, and Beaudilla finds the kill, but a nice dunk down comes from Rygaklu as well to try and bring strategic low, but they can't keep up the chase.
Major Stacks having to use the Aegis. Rygaklu barely able to blink through that wall. Major Stacks eating the Strife and Unruly Magic combo is wicked. Taunts and SmiteVOD forced to disengage from Beaudilla's lurking in the water, only losing Joltak.
But a nice pick there from Coalition to be able to catch out Joltak. They had him stuck against that wall forever. The Fear No Evil was very well placed, strategic in there as well, I believe, to try and keep that CC chain going. And really nothing one doggo can do.
No, definitely not. Maybe 2 doggos, but one's just not enough.
Even with 3 heads, you know.
That's true.
It's just not enough.
You need 2 doggos with 6 heads.
Yep. Or 2 doggos really with any amount of heads would be better than what happened there to Joltak. From Xbox or no.
Because, like, you don't want to have 1 dog that's lonely, right? So you get 2 dogs to keep each other company.
That's really all it takes.
That way they don't chew your shoes.
You know how there's, like, friendship levels in Pokemon and they'll, like, evolve? It's kind of like that for Joltak.
Yeah.
You know? Or for dogs, I mean.
It's their buddy system.
Yeah, you need that friendship level. Or likeness or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Never mind. All right, sorry, Chad. I forgot. I don't know what it's called. I don't know why I brought it up. InControl, though, certainly not as in control as they'd like to be here in this match. This is twice now Coalition have been able to answer back. They had this fight here where they locked down Joltak. They had the 2-for-2 exchange earlier on. I thought Goldfear might be being looked at, but it's just Outbound and Joltak here, so not just yet.
Oh, okay. Not stolen away this time. InControl still with the vision control around that Goldfury for about another minute as we're approaching the 18-minute mark. Still, these teams aren't going for the Goldfury finish, and this is the point where teams have plenty of experience under their belts. We're almost looking at 10 relics across the board. Only Joltak not at level 12 quite yet. Team fighting potential through the roof from Coalition with all the control from Beaudilla, SmiteVOD, Strategics controller. Then you got double sustain from Raw Terra combination. Then you got the disruption from Cbeaarr's ultimate to prevent InControl from really getting in the thick of things.
A nice blink from SmiteVOD. xCovi gets plucked right back in. Celestial Beam off the mark, but he doesn't need it. Ends up hitting him with the blind instead. Major Stacks finds the kill. And now Coalition with the man advantage certainly can go for the Gold Fury.
Dead for 36 seconds now. Coalition feeling confident to get the Gold Fury. Strategic taking a little bit of poke now. Wicked gonna force the issue. Earth and Fury comes through. Beaudilla's pluck not really successful.
And Rygaklu lands on the backside. Doesn't really hit anyone with the ultimate. In fact, gets blown up by the damage coming out from Cbeaarr. Outbound responds by removing Major Stacks. Wicked gets plucked back in, but InControl keep the Gold Fury alive.
And this is InControl fighting a man down. It's 2 for 1. Still feeling confident is InControl going on in. Pulling in no one, forcing out the beads as Beaudilla finds a pluck. Gonna force a disengage from Outbound that doesn't have airstrike.
Joltak in some trouble now on the right-hand side. Cbeaarr will finish him off. Strategic forces out Wicked. Now it's Outbound with nowhere to go. A double kill for the Xbalanque, making sure that passive gets nice and stacked off. Damage, not kills anymore, obviously, as Wicked comes back in to try and trade. He wants to at least find SmiteVOD, but Fear No Evil comes back up.
Needed one more basic attack, but that ultimate creating such a disruption. Stun onto Wicked, and gonna root him in place here in a second. As Unruly Magic being thrown out. This team fight lasted so long that xCovi is back in it. Wicked taking out Strategic, and it's up to InControl whether or not they want to go for this Gold Fury after the respawn from Joltak.
Certainly something they can go consider. They don't have Outbound, their best DPS on the Gold Fury, so maybe not.
Oh, Wicked's the best DPS. Level 19 Erlong Shen.
Why is he level 19? Berserker Shield there with him as well, so they certainly have plenty of burn. And really, no one from Coalition is nearby. Major Stacks has the ult, but he's just not in range.
Oh, he
but the
missed.
Gold Fury's least either way.
Well, you know what? That's not too bad if you think about it, because Outbound's going to get here with his Jingwei passive. Strategic just now reviving, and Coalition are without lurking in the water.
A Major stacks unchecked to the right-hand side. That's why Rygaklu goes up into the air to keep an eye on where this Ra is. Beaudilla on reposition with Gold Fury. Gonna go down for InControl. Major stacks not on the mark.
Coalition tried to find the kill. It was very close to also stealing that objective. Earth and Fury trying to peel. Stuns coming through. Defensive ultimate. SweetPatato is back into the thick of things as he finds the kill.
Able to get Wicked. Stygian Torment controls 2 and locks them back down, but there is no follow-up. InControl, yes, they are able to grab the Gold Fear, but can they get back out of the fight on the back end? Major stacks is healing up the team, and InControl should be out, though Cbeaarr does find a tier 1.
Just slow and steady, getting the objectives between the Gold Fury and the tower. First, Gold Fury going down at 20 minutes. That's how you can tell these teams are very cautious about giving up a deficit. There's a lot of stakes in line here, Finch.
That's right, a lot on the line for these two teams. InControl would love to grab this win here and punch their ticket, putting themselves on an uncatchable record too far out in front of Coalition. SweetPatato gets poked out and has to retreat. Pyromancer does go down for Coalition on the back end, so the game stays very, very close. But already Major stacks getting in some good healing at 4,600.
Things are looking good. Between the 4,600 from Major stacks, between the 3,000 from Strategic. There's a cursed Ankh from Joltak, but it's not upgraded, and that's an important thing to know. Pestilence has been picked up from both Wicked and Joltak. Rygaklu, even with the Brawler's Beat Stick. No Divine Ruin from xCovi quite yet. Would love to see him pick that item up as well, but that's going to hurt his overall damage.
This should certainly slow them down. Things are only going to get worse, too, as Major stacks appears to be working on the Rod of a Sleepiest, which is going to help him increase that healing even more.
Yeah, but
not just for himself.
But look at SweetPatato's items as well. Relic Dagger, Jotun's Wrath, Blackthorns even on top of this after he sold out the Assassin's Blessing. Gonna have plenty of MP5 once he's lower than that 50% threshold and 10% cooldown reduction above.
But he recognizes he has to blink as often as possible. He's really the one that's initiating these fights. Beaudilla can do it as well with the Charge Prey, but it can be risky. When he's able to reposition and Fear No Evil in the back line and spread the fights apart and set up for Major stacks, then Coalition can absolutely win these fights.
As the Gold Fury's down for 2.5 minutes, the action's going to shift over to the right side of the map. Not about the solo lane, but more importantly about this Fire Giant Strategic. Looking for somebody to kind of snipe down. This is the point where Major stacks has enough cooldown reduction to just spam this Searing Pain off of even Strategic rooting someone in place.
That's all that it would take. Is Joltak in trouble? Searing Pain, Celestial Beam brings him very low. Joltak will fall to SweetPatato. xCovi has to use the B to allow him to reposition, and he is going to make it back towards the tower line, but Coalition are the ones with all the control of the space.
That's right, because Outbound is not even there. He was too preoccupied getting the tier 1 tower. 500 gold at 23 minutes, not really worth it, and that's why he canceled this back and is going to continue to go for the tier 2 as he backs again.
They'll head right back towards the Fire Giant now, and this is a good idea. Let Beaudilla try and zone everyone away, but Rygaklu is unzonable. He can go up into the air and crash back in, but remember, Major stacks doesn't have the ultimate either. They used that for the kill earlier, so they don't have their best confirm. Rygaklu goes up into the air, dunks down onto 3 to try and keep Wicked alive, but it's not enough. SweetPatato finds him on the back end.
Just a little bit too far forward. Fighting without Outbound. They could have just delayed it a little bit further, but they forced the issue in a 3-on-5 despite having Outbound up.
Fire Giant being considered still by Coalition. They've got all 5 members here, and they have the Ra to try and keep everybody healthy. Joltak on the left-hand side, though, force out SweetPatato. The Fire Giant doing plenty of work on his own. Stygian Torment finds nobody. That is an unfortunate whiff for InControl, but Coalition have to give up their position.
They still can't secure the Fire Giant despite having the numbers advantage. Wicked still dead for another 20 seconds. Over 10,000 collective healing. About 12,000 total now. Looking between those two players here. Things are only going to get scarier now as the blink play from Beaudilla. Pluck onto xCovi on the backside, getting chased down.
But Major stacks is not there with the follow-up, but it looks like they don't even need him. SweetPatato finds xCovi. Joltak does try and put out that Cursed Knock to stop the healing, but the slow too strong. Beaudilla finds one more kill. Coalition grabbing 2 of a chance to go back and grab the first Fire Giant of the game. InControl have got to come defend.
Well, they have no Anvil of Dawn quite yet. It's coming up soon. Major stacks without his ultimate for another 20 seconds or so. Not too bad for him to try to go for this one. Looking at the team fight recap, 2-0. But look at this, Rygaklu in the air.
He does dunk right back down on top of the Fire Giant, but Major Stacks is not deterred. He's going to confirm the objective for Coalition, and now with only 3 members in control, have got to run for the hills, and Coalition keep up the chase.
The block is good.
SmitePatato finds Rygaklu on the backside. That's 1 more kill, and they've zoned away Outbound. Now there's no one here to help Wicked.
Oh, the stun as well. Searing Pain a little bit off the mark. Wicked will get that healing at the last second. Celestial Beam alongside the tail flip confirms the kill. Taunts coming through. You know Coalition are feeling good about that one.
And they got to try and drop some. Outbound a little bit in debt with his taunting before it was earned, or at least with the spam laps. Now it's Coalition who can come try and push down some of these towers. Still about 5,000 to be farmed for the map if you count that tier 2, the other tier 2s, and the tier 1. But they want the Phoenix in mid lane, and why not? They've got the numbers advantage.
Oh, there goes the blink from SmitePatato, but XCovi able to disengage on the right side after using the beats. Not done yet. SmitePatato goes up and down, but Outbound is zoning him out.
Joltak gets plucked back in, but he's tanky enough to shrug it off. Outbound finds SmitePatato, but not before the mid Phoenix goes down. This is a win for Coalition, up now about 6,000 gold.
Oh, yes, it is.
Nice
Outbound actually going to get sniped at the very max distance, trying to zone and scare him away from chasing down Beaudilla. But I don't think Rygaklu got that same memo, because he's going up in the sky.
Absolutely wants the Sobek dead, but he turns back around. Rygaklu gets juked out, and the blink over the wall. The Sobek makes it out somehow. There's just no way that should have gone down.
He just broke his ankles with that blink and plucking away.
It looks like InControl should be able to get the gold. Fury on the back end of this at the very least, but they've given up so much. The Fire Giant, the tier 2, the Phoenix in mid all go down for Coalition.
That's true. InControl able to secure that one, but it's not going to stop the bleeding of some of these fire minions down that middle lane. InControl going to have to constantly keep that lane in check. As a result, Outbound should be the one defending it, as he can easily get back into the action.
I'm actually surprised. Cbeaarr's gone with a crit build here on the Xbalanque. Poison Star into the Deathbringer.
Yeah.
And there's recognition from InControl. Hyde is there, Midgardian, and Thorns, but it has not slowed down the Xbalanque.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to go for that kind of style, then you're not going to go for too much anti-healing either, even though there is plenty of anti-healing. And what I also mean is like maybe a second Curse Dong. Like somebody's going to have to pick up a Thorn, somebody's going to have to get a Curse Dong. And if you're not dealing with 2 Curse Dongs, then there's going to be a lot of out-of-combat healing that Coalition could just back, reset, go for round 2, 3, and 4.
That's right. You go this build because you already have Major Stacks forcing the opposition to build a certain way, and strategic, really, with their healing. So that kind of opens up the door for Cbeaarr to force a split in how they want to handle it. It's very difficult to build effectively against both.
Top player damage of the game is SmitePatato, making it happen on the Hunbats. Now with a full build, Rygaklu forced to go up into the sky now. And without that Anvil of Dawn, this next Phoenix Siege is going to become a little bit easier. Fire Giant still around Coalition's waist for about another 45 seconds, transitioning over to this last remaining tier 2 tower in the solo lane.
It's going to be getting harder and harder for InControl in this game as well. Book of the Dead completed now for Major Stacks. He'll be just that much safer as well. So far, Coalition have really answered back against this InControl team. Remember, Game 1 felt very heavily in their favor. Game 2 was back and forth, 40-plus minutes, and now here we are in Game 3, about to cross the 29-minute threshold. Coalition want to keep their chances alive.
Yeah, that's true. That would put both of these teams at 4-1 record set-wise if Coalition were to come out with a victory. InControl need to find a miraculous comeback to continue to go undefeated, give Coalition their second loss, and then confirm InControl's berth into the HRX placements.
Trying to make week number 6 very, very important between these two squads. It would seem is the idea here for Coalition. They have 10,000 gold out in front, and really no more structures to worry about except for the Phoenixes. Fire Giant will be back up in about 40 seconds. They can group over there to grab it. But InControl have got to find a way to get back to these healers quickly enough. Major Stacks can just sit comfortably at the back end of the fight. Even if he's not landing the Searing Pains, you know, they've not all been on the mark. The healing is so big.
It is. Last time we checked, it was about 12,000 collectively. Now it's 12,000 for just Major Stacks. 6,600 out of Strategic. About 19,000 between the two of them.
Eliminating Outbound's damage, essentially. It's absurd the amount of healing they've been able to get away with. They will certainly be in position to defend, or rather to grab this Fire Giant. It looks like with the mid Phoenix already having gone down and wanting to be there to defend it, InControl are going to give this one up.
It's going to be the enhanced Fire Giant, Finch.
Enhanced!
Try again.
That wasn't very good?
No.
Is that what you're telling me?
I don't feel the theme of it matching like a holy spirit.
Enhanced.
It's too spiritual for me.
That was very spiritual, I thought. It was like a...
Is that the theme we're going for?
I don't know.
I thought we're spooky October.
Oh, you're right. Enhanced.
There we go.
I can go spookier with it, I guess. As Coalition trying to barrel down the middle lane. Remember, this Phoenix is already weakened. It won't be nearly as difficult to force this one down. xCovi will be instrumental with his strifes on the defense.
How are they going to get in here, though? It's Coalition looking for the blink out of Beaudilla or SweetPatato, because somebody's going to need to peel in the back line. There goes Beaudilla, looking for a tail flip. Going to force xCovi to back on out. Up in the sky goes Rygaklu, diving on in. There goes the Earth and Fury. There goes the life of Rygaklu.
Major Stacks finds the Searing Pain. Beaudilla finds Wicked as well. 5v3, and Joltak jumping for his life. xCovi very low as well, but they can't quite track him down. Joltak does at least find Cbeaarr. That's a lot of the damage onto these structures that they lost, but I don't think Coalition cares. They're going to go right for the end. Strife hits everyone. Airstrike there as well. The Titan is not taking a whole lot of damage. xCovi and Outbound might have a chance. Beaudilla ends up going down as well. He was tanking up a lot of the damage. And Coalition, they can't do it. InControl, keep the base alive.
It's just a little bit too tanky, Finch. There's still 2 more Phoenixes on the board. SweetPatato didn't have enough health to really put himself in that position of the Titan room. Would take too much AoE damage. The fact that xCovi was alive prevents him from any melee character from coming up close to clumping together. You don't want to deal with that madness effect of the Strife.
And I give a lot of credit to xCovi, like you said, on the Strife in particular. I think he hit 3 or 4 underneath the Titan, but also to Joltak. He was out way too far forward. He was certainly going to die, but he recognized how low Cbeaarr was nearby him and turned to make sure he at least got that Xbalanque. If they could have backed up, let Major Stacks heal up that Xbalanque, I think they lose the game there.
I think Coalition were just a little too far forward there, like wanting to dip their feet into water where it just was a little too cold, not warming quite yet.
I like the idea, though. They very likely don't lose on the back of that, no matter how bad it goes. There's only a chance maybe they're able to close it out. It was not going to be easy for them to close it out. They didn't have a lot of damage, and xCovi and Outbound had plenty. So they at least gave it a shot, couldn't find it. Now they can try again.
Having a purple potion around Major Stacks with a red buff for not only himself, but Cbeaarr could go for round 2 after they go for the left side. Phoenix Fire Giant still up for another minute 20 seconds, but it's not onto Cbeaarr, which is an important thing to note when you're going for some of these Phoenix engagements.
Now Coalition want to try and push down the left side Phoenix. Why not, right? I mean, they've already gotten the mid lane. They got Beaudilla pushing up those fire minions to split the focus of InControl.
I like that.
In fact, Beaudilla even going for a charge prey, but can't quite find it.
Just wanted to go for the Spirit Throw proc, and also going to proc the Anchile at the same exact time. 5-on-5 on the left-hand side, Beaudilla on the right. Up the north side strategic. Up in the sky goes Rygaklu. Earth and Fury being used, trying to go into the back line. Rygaklu pulling them away from the Phoenix, but losing his life.
A lot of focus on the Cbeaarr and Major Stacks, but it still doesn't find anything. SweetPatato drops down the ultimate to keep Wicked pinned up against the wall. Cbeaarr with a double kill as he removes Joltak. Phoenix on the left-hand side, getting low as well. That means Coalition now can try and break their way into the Titan Room. 5 up against 3. Outbound, xCovi, and Wicked, the only ones to try and keep this alive.
InControl are no longer in control because Coalition are battling their way to give the Chaos side their first loss. Major Stacks with a hot double kill, and by golly, Finch, we're going to have a very exciting week 6 ahead of us.
I think that's going to do it. Coalition able to take down InControl 22-9, 34.5 minutes. A hard-fought set. Not easy for either one of these teams, and I think that whichever one of them is the one that's able to make it out of North America, they have a strong representative from PS4.
Absolutely. These teams have looked so impressive in this entire set.
Oh, yes.
And like these 2 junglers specifically, I think was very impressive. Being able to switch things up as well, where Rygaklu was used to playing the Hunbats, And now all of a sudden SmiteVOD was like, nah, it's my turn in game number 3.
That made a big difference for them, being able to have that inbots on their side this time. I think the Fear No Evil was a very powerful tool for them throughout the early game. And even though they had some trouble sieging, I think what made up for it was that they had that Ra in that middle lane, right? They're able to rely so much on that healing.
It's difficult to really pinpoint who is the MVP because I think they all had their moments to shine. The collective healing between major stacks and also strategic onto the Terra made it really annoying because you have to alter your whole build now. There was like so much anti-healing. Thor was picking up the Brawler's Beatstick. You have the Cursed Ankh as well. And then all of a sudden you're also going to have your Soul Laner pick up Thorns and Height of Namin to counter the late game crits from your Xbalanque. It was basically Coalition molding the build out of InControl.
I also think that the Xbalanque was a big factor for him in that game as well. The Darkest of Nights on multiple engagements, especially from Rygaklu, was really shutting down what they were trying to do in those team fights and just kind of cutting out the lights, making it hard for them to know exactly what's going on. Really great all around from Coalition. Very impressed by this win. But who impressed you all out there the most? Who was your MVP? Let us know in Mixer Chat.
I'm going to say SmiteVOD because that's what I'm craving now after this set.
You want some sweet potatoes?
Yes. Can we go get some SmiteVOD?
I don't know where from.
I might know a spot.
All right, Totally got the hookup, but you all have the hookup as well. The power is in your hands. Let us know who you think was the MVP for that game. And now Coalition giving InControl really their first loss. And again, the PS4 scene's still very new. It's hard to say there's any one team where it's like a big upset or anything like that. But with the way that InControl have been playing up until now, this is definitely a big win for Coalition.
Oh yes, it's going to keep them still in control of their own destiny as they approach Week 6.
Well, it is SmiteVOD that is selected as the MVP by you all out there. I think you all got this one right. The Unbot's play was critical for them. He found a couple nice ones where he was able to lock down the Joltak, I believe, as well on that Cerberus. There's one more, pushing him up against the wall, and Searing Pain was right there.
Right on top of them with a wall, maximizing the full 2-second duration from that ultimate. Very important Fire Giant secure. I believe that was the first one of the game where InControl were not able to really steal that one away. It was a good confirm from Major Stacks. Not afraid to dive the tier 2 tower. SmiteVOD makes it happen, whether it's the Susno or the Hunbats.
And you got to feel for this not SmiteVOD, but for this Coalition roster, man. What a strong performance, sticking with it, especially when you consider how it started. That first set was kind of rough for them. Things out of control right away, but they managed to fight their way back in. Let's go ahead and take a look, though, at where all the teams are standing on the back end of that victory. Remember, we talked about InControl and Coalition now both 4-1. Meanwhile, Insomnia and Freaks on the other side, 3-2. Insomnia, very glad Bulldog was able to find a win over Freaks early.
It's going to force a very spicy Week 6 schedule moving forward between both Europe and North America with how close those top 2 teams are. Keep in mind, only the first seeded team from both regions are going to the HRX placements.
And to be honest with you, Coalition might not have too much trouble. Evil Lemons have not had a lot of success just yet. InControl up against Strictly Business might potentially have a tougher match. Freaks and Insomnia, I believe the top 2 teams just going to play each other.
There you go.
Goes. Week 6, man, it's hard to imagine it being more exciting than that.
No, definitely not. And that concludes basically both the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 for week number 5. And these teams still trying to go their way to HRX.
That's really the big goal right now, is making their way towards DreamHack. Remember, though, for you all at home, it's not going to be quite as difficult. You also have to go to hi-rezexpo.com, pick up your tickets. November 16th through the 18th is when you're going to want to be there. Mark those calendars.
That's right. It's not just a console, but we're having Smite PC, Paladins, Console Wars on Paladins, other games besides Smite that you can check out, and you can't forget the After Party Finch on that Sunday, November 18th. Get your tickets now for HRX afterparty.eventbrite.com.
You never know when your calendar is going to be important, you know, so make sure you put all your events on it. That way, if it comes up 30 years later, you got it. You never know, really, so that's one thing I would suggest for you all at home as well. Just write down exactly what's going on. Be at the after party, though. You don't want to miss it. Everyone's going to be there. Your favorite personalities are all going to be hanging out. Some of your pro players, the coaches, the staff members here as well. It's a big fun party. Everyone's having a great time. After HRX is a fun event in and of itself.
I heard that you're giving away crisp handshakes at that.
That's right. Make sure that you're there. You would not want to miss one.
Can we get a preview?
Screen can't handle it. I got to be sparing with these crisp handshakes.
Fair enough.
No way they can enjoy it, but that is going to do it. One more time, thank you for sticking with us through a long day of excellent console action. Tune back in tomorrow where we're going to have the SPL happening. It's going to be big there to determine who's going to HRX as well. Don't miss a minute of it. Thanks for hanging out.